I think our teams, they tend to look at projects and tickets, and so they see, for a weekly backlog, they see how many tickets in the backlog do we have, and how many are we getting done per sprint. And they tend to look at how many story points they do per sprint for those teams that estimate story points, because they like to know how much capacity they have for the next sprint. One of the things, actually interesting things related to story points too, is that we tell our teams, plan, if you're going to have 10 story points, let's just assume a day is a story point for our purposes, plan 7 of them and leave 3 unplanned, because those 3 unplanned always happen. They're either tech debt or product asks you for something new, or you're spending a whole extra day debugging something that should take 2 hours. So that's another thing they look at. So they tend to look at that level. What I'm really looking at, and I'm actually doing this now, is trying to prepare trend lines on what is our OKR completion and what are our scores over time. And also, what is our PR merge productivity on our entire team, and then different groups and areas over time. And also, what is our code review depth and code review time as well. And part of what I'm planning on doing is maybe providing an easy to digest presentation, because we're about to make a big organization change. And once we make the big organization change and move a few teams around, we want to see if it made us more productive or less productive. So I'm mostly looking these metrics for our overall productivity, if I'm not thinking about managing individual projects and when they're going to be done. Right now, the primary way we have is our platform project review. I've had a few managers get access to it because they're curious to see their team's productivity over time. But the primary way we've done it is really through the project view, and using that as a leading indicator for figuring out which projects we want to talk about. And we have an every 2-week cadence on that. And it's, that's one of the things that's important to me, is to be able to look at the big projects and understand if we're able to deliver on them and adjust with enough time to be able to fix it. So that's probably the biggest way that we've integrated it. I think a few places I've seen the most success. One is looking at different teams' productivity and understanding where we have a 10x team versus a team that's just performing as we expect it. And it's interesting because we do have a few 10x teams. We have one specific team in the platform group that is a small team, but the engineers are really experienced and productive. And so you can really see that show through in the metrics. And so I'm going to use that in a variety of ways. One is to figure out, how do I form teams, maybe get that team to share some of their methods with the other teams. So that's one way that I'm really using it now for. And then I'm starting to use it to look at investment profile. I think in 2022, the thing I'm most interested in is understanding how much time are we spending on tech debt, and how much time are we spending on improving product, and how we strive to spend 20 to 30% of our time on infrastructure and tech debt collectively. Well, maybe we're spending too little, or maybe we're spending too much. Hippo has traditionally been a company where we've prioritized delivery, and we've said we pride ourselves in being able to deliver within that 2-week window. And so we've intentionally introduced places where we want to pay down tech debt and build sound infrastructure. And so by using some of the metrics in LinearB and maybe using Jira to classify our work a little bit better, I'll be able to get some idea of how we're doing there and where we might need to change. I think one of the ways that it helps us scale is to give us an indicator of how we're distributing our people and work and teams, and to understand where we might need to add someone to a team or take someone away from a team. The other thing we're considering doing, and I've been talking with some of the people at LinearB with, is experimenting with one team on using some of the Slack tools like WorkerBee, and just to see, does that help the team's productivity? Are they interested in it? Do they consider it intrusive or unintrusive? And so I think at some point we're going to run a pilot with that as well.